This is an amazing book. It completely changed the way I think about emotions. And although its main audience are people with depression, I would definitely recommend it to absolutely everyone. Of course, if you're interested in emotions, happiness, mood, and mental health. So here are some main ideas from this excellent book. Your feelings are the result of your own thoughts. You feel the way you do right now because of the thoughts you are thinking at the moment. And people are not tormented by the events, but by their own attitude towards them. And your attitude towards the event depends only on your interpretation. Negative thoughts that cause emotional chaos almost always contain gross distortion. Although these thoughts seem valid, they are actually irrational or just wrong, and this twisted thinking is the main reason of your suffering. 10 major cognitive distortions that cause negative thoughts. Number 1. Everything or nothing thinking. You see the world in black and white, not perceiving the shades in between. If you fail to achieve excellence in something, you are treating yourself as a complete loser. The everything or nothing mentality is the foundation of perfectionism. It induces fear of any mistakes or imperfections because then you will consider yourself as a loser. But nothing is absolute in this universe. And if you try to describe your experience in absolute categories, you will constantly feel depressed because your perception will not correspond to the reality. Number 2. Overgeneralization. You see one negative event as an endless series of failures. You have one problem and you think, my life is awful. For example, you might think that you'll be alone for the rest of your life if only just one girl rejected you. But it's simply silly to draw any conclusion based on a few or even one cases. Number 3. Negative filter. Being in a certain situation, you pick out just one negative detail and focus solely on it, thus negatively perceiving the situation as a whole. Just like a drop of ink stains an entire container of water, you are prone to receiving only negative information. Number 4. Devaluation of the positive. You reject a positive experience, insisting that for one reason or another, they don't count. In this way, you maintain negative beliefs that your everyday experience disproves. Some depressed people have a persistent habit of turning neutral or even positive events into negative ones. Whenever you have a negative experience, you fixate on it and conclude, this proves I knew all along. In contrast, when you encounter positive events, you say to yourself, it was an accident, it doesn't count. Number 5. Rapid conclusions. You make negative judgment even though you don't have enough evidence to back them up. There are two varieties of these distortions. Number 1. Mind reading. You make a conclusion about other people's motivation, don't even try to test the assumption. For instance, if you write a message to a girl and she doesn't reply in 3 seconds, you think that she ignores you. Number 2. Prediction mistake. You are anticipating that some negative event will happen and accept this like a fact, although there are any facts that approve this. Number 6. Exaggeration and reduction. You see your mistakes and flaws as huge problems and don't value your achievements and strengths. Exaggeration of mistakes and negativity, underestimation of success and achievements. Number 7. Emotional justification. You assume that your negative emotions inevitably reflect the reality. I feel like this, therefore it is like that. You take your emotions as an argument for some truth. I feel guilty, I must have done something wrong. I'm depressed and feel hopeless, therefore my problems are apparently unsolvable. I feel incompetent, so I'm probably a useless person. But if you feel like a failure, it doesn't mean that you really are. You deceive yourself because you have a habit of letting negative feelings determine your actions. Your feelings, not the facts, it's just a reflection of your thoughts. And I have good news for you, you can control your thoughts. Number 8. Negative labeling. This is an extreme form of overgeneralization. Instead of describing the mistake, you label yourself as I'm failure. When someone else's behavior doesn't please you, you label this person as well. What a scoundrel he is. One failure makes you think of yourself or others as a loser. By using labels, we miss the real essence of the problem. Find the real problem and then start working on it. Instead of calling yourself a failure, think, yes, this girl rejected me, maybe because I was too unconfident. I want to know how to become more confident. Number 10. Personalization. You think that you are responsible for all bad things that happens in your life. For example, if your girlfriend gets upset, you think it's your fault and you blame yourself, although you aren't responsible for other people's emotions. This distortion creates feelings of guilt. Learn to notice your negative thoughts and then answer to your inner critic. To do this, you can use the 2 columns technique. Each time you experience a negative emotions, write down all the thoughts that cause it. Then file the distortions in the thoughts and replace them with more rational, realistic thoughts. For example, you are late for an important meeting. In this case, you may think, I never do anything on time. Everyone will look at me like I'm an idiot. I'll make a fool of myself. Distortions. Number 1. Overgeneralization. Number 2. Mind reading, overgeneralization and prediction mistake. And number 3. Labeling and prediction mistake. Possible rational answers. Number 1. I always get my work done on time and I'm always on time for meetings with my friends. Number 2. Someone might be upset that I'm late, but it isn't the end of the world. Maybe nobody will even notice it. Number 3. I am not a fool. I can look like a fool if I'm late, but it doesn't mean I am. Everyone is late from time to time. It's okay. You can also evaluate your negative emotions from 0 to 100% and how your mood changed after your responses to automatic thoughts. Another example. Situation. You don't upload your video on YouTube on time. Automatic thoughts. Number 1. I'm an awful YouTuber. Number 2. I will never succeed in life. Distortions. Number 1. Labeling, emotional justification, exaggeration of negative, reduction of positive. Number 2. Overgeneralization, prediction mistake, exaggeration of negative, all or nothing thinking. Possible rational answers. No, I'm not an awful YouTuber, I just late a little with a new video. Last 5 videos I upload on time. Number 2. This is ridiculous. It doesn't mean that I will not achieve anything in life. Everyone makes mistakes and mine wasn't very bad. It's only some ideas from the beginning of the book. There are too much information for one video. Go and read the book right now. I probably will leave the link in the description. That's all for today. I hope something from this video will be helpful. And do the right thing, whatever it takes.